What's up, fam? Welcome to the Traffic, Sales, and Profit podcast. My name is Lamar Tyler. I'm your host. And today, we're joined by my homegirl, Davonne Reaves. Now, Davonne Reaves is history. She black history. She black girl magic history, all that wrapped up in one. She's a hotel consultant. She is an award-winning asset manager. And she is about to just blow your mind around what you even think is possible when it comes to wealth generation, when it comes to the places you stay. If your dream has been for you to own an Airbnb, we're going to show you how to think bigger today. What's up, Davonne?
What's up, Lamar?
Did you like the intro?
I love the intro.
Look, what if we start saying that? I want you to start saying that. What if we start telling people, if the biggest you've thought about, right? Nothing wrong with Airbnb.
Nothing wrong with it.
But if the biggest you've thought about is like, hey, I'm going to own 4 or 5 Airbnbs. What if we change that conversation to you should own 4 or 5 hotels? Is that possible?
That's so possible.
All right.
Let's make it happen.
So this is the perfect conversation with you because I wanted to let them know we not playing by bringing a young black woman that owns now 3 hotels?
3
hotels. And I feel like this going to get dated because I feel like you're going to bust past that. And by the time people really catching the
last time we sat like this, last time I was on the stage, I had 1. Now I got 3.
All right. And this is phenomenal. So let's jump right into it. 3 hotels. How in the world did you become the owner of 3 hotels?
You know, I get that question like all the time, but I love talking about it. So actually how I became the owner of 3 hotels, relationships, right? I've been in the industry for 15 years now. I started off as a front desk agent. So throughout my time, I built a lot of relationships. I learned a lot of things, got into ownership through working in corporate. So I worked in corporate probably about 5 years. And so that was my true introduction to hotel ownership. And so just building upon those relationships, met Mike Ely. So shout out to Mike Ely. He's with Nassau Investments, and we partnered on the Home 2 Suites in El Reno with my college friend Jessica Meyer. Shout out to her. And that deal, that people keep saying, okay, Davonne, why El Reno, right? I didn't know. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know anything.
And
about
El Reno's a city.
It's a city. Like I had to Google it.
And it ain't El Reno, Nevada.
No, it's like El Reno, Oklahoma. And so they was like, yo, Davonne, it was Daniel Wynn. He's with Nassau Investments. He was like, yo, I got this, we found this deal. And I said, where is it? He's like, El Reno. I said, where's El Reno? Like, I had to Google it. And so that was more of a numbers deal, right? Typically when I talk to people, like Lamar, when you get your hotel, you know, I have to do that in. I'm like, okay, you know, try to find something that's like, you know, within the 2 to 4 hour radius, you can drive and get to it. But since my experience in the industry and, you know, we were going to put a management company, I was like, okay, let's El Reno find, because the deal was just such a great deal. We bought it during COVID.
Okay.
So there was a lot of distressed assets and inventory. So we were able to get it at a great deal. And from there, you know, it was a Home 2 Suites, Hilton property. So it's 3 things that makes a hotel successful, right? So you got the location.
Okay. Location.
So even though El Reno is not like a prime location, but the hotel is right off the interstate. So it's right off the major interstate. So people stop by. It's near a lot of oil rigs. So people who working on projects and staying there for work, they can stay there because it's an extended stay. It's a brand, the brand, which is the second thing that makes a hotel successful. Hilton brand is like number 2 in the world.
Okay.
Right?
Who's number 1? Marriott?
Marriott.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then operator. So Commonwealth is a third-party management company. So for the folks who are residential or Airbnb management company, think of management companies for hotels, the property manager for like a multifamily or for your house if you're in, you know, if you're in rental units. And so they were going to manage it for us. So once we checked the numbers, the number makes sense, meaning the returns will look great, not only for us as owners, but also for our investors. Then it was like, all right, we found this deal. Now we got to raise this money.
So you were able to get into it without you having to come with millions of dollars.
Correct.
So you kept your millions in the bank and used somebody else's millions to get into this deal.
Yeah. That's a nice way of saying it. You always articulate things and simplify it. Yes. We bought that hotel for $8.3 million.
Okay.
And we had to come in and raise equity. So we raised that capital through private investors, family and friends. I said, you want to invest in a hotel. And I was able to build, my brand through podcasting and, because a lot of people were talking about Airbnb and, residential, but nobody was talking about hotels.
Okay, gotcha.
Right. So here I am talking about hotels. I have experience. I worked in a hotel, asset management. So just throughout that time period, I was able to build a lot of experience. So had that credibility. So folks, I'm calling out my family. They ain't even want to invest in me at first. People be getting mad. My family don't want to. That usually how it always is. So
you got to show and prove.
Oh, now they.
A lot of times, yeah. Now they all like me, but that's how it always is, right?
So
you gotta. I mean, I think a lot of times because people know you and they're so comfortable and familiar with you, what they know you is they're like, "Girl, I remember you growing up."
They did.
I remember you like you spilled that thing on yourself.
They do
at the family picnic that time. Like you're not out here buying hotels until you buy a hotel. Then it's like
you can do it. When my
how can
uncle
I be
said
that?
I died laughing. He was like, Davonne, I ain't think you can do it. So proud of you, girl. I was like, well, thank you for the confidence. Thank you for believing in me. But that only person who did believe in me buying a hotel was my grandma. But unfortunately, she passed away before I could do it. And my grandma was definitely old school. You ain't get your hotel yet. She
put the pressure on you.
Oh yeah, she put the pressure on me.
She applied the pressure.
And then so unfortunately, I didn't get it before she transitioned. And so after she transitioned, I felt really bad because I could have bought a hotel a long time ago. My goal was to do it before I was 30, but I wasn't focused. Right, I was having fun, partying. And I just wasn't focused. And after she passed, it just hit me. I said, one thing, I just wanted to check my grandma in my own hotel. And she didn't do it. And I said, you know what? Her birthday was February 6th. This was February 6th, she died in January 2020. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna buy a hotel before her next birthday, which was February 6th. And we closed on November 1st, 2020.
How old were you then? Because you said you didn't get about 30. So 33. That still ain't bad.
Yeah,
that still ain't bad. Let's be real. That's still not bad.
But with both of our personalities, I'm still like, I wasn't even 30. I'm hard on myself.
Only on Traffic Sales and Profit podcast. Joker's like, I got the hotel at 33 and I'm slouching.
I was still a little bummed out.
All right, so you got the hotel, $8 million plus property. I want to draw out something you said, because a lot of people, even me, the first time you told me about hotels, I was like, man, I ain't got time to be running no hotel. But you talked about, hey, this one is in El Reno, Oklahoma, you said, right?
Yes,
El Reno,
I'll be going there tomorrow.
El Reno, Oklahoma.
Check on my property.
But you said, hey, it's a management group. So just like how if I had a residential property with a property manager, manage it, collecting rents, doing all that stuff, it's the hotel version of that. So they do the day-to-day.
They do the day-to-day.
And they handle it. And that's how you can be states away and still have that asset there producing income for you.
Somebody is probably checking in my hotel right now, but there's someone in that's checking them in with a smile. Earlier somebody had breakfast, somebody had to prepare the breakfast. So it's a management company that's managing that oversight. If someone calls off,
they hire the staff, they manage the staff, everything.
They make sure they get paid, they do the benefits. They do those things, those day-to-day operations that we don't have to worry about, as owners. And so what I do as an owner, we do check in with them. I hold them accountable. Again, like I mentioned before, I'm going to the property tomorrow. Nobody is going to take care of your property like you. And they're a great management company. They're doing the very best they can, and I appreciate them all. But at the end of the day, that's my property. So we're going to check it, walk through, and I want to meet the people. I like talking to the people. Mm-hmm. When you talk, because I used to be a front desk agent. So I remember what it was like from having a good boss to a bad boss. And I never really met the owner because I thought, Hyatt at the time, they did own a property, but they weren't talking with us. You know what I mean? So I go and actually talk to the employees. I want to hear, okay, what do you need? What can we do for you? That means a lot, because a lot of times owners, when they talk to their employees, and employees even express this to me, they say, well, my previous owners just said I was a number to them. Well, wow. I know that they're not this is an actual human being with a family, with goals. And what can I do to support them? Because when I take care of them, then hopefully they'll take care of me by taking care of the property.
What is their reaction when you walk into the hotel and they see you? Because are they imagining that like Davonne Reaves is like this older woman, maybe she ain't a sister? Like what is their impression?
They try to play Beyonce when I come. They know I'm coming. They know I love Beyonce. They were like, we never met an owner like you before. So it's a little different. I'm a little different than certain owners.
I love it. Now, since then, you've gone on to acquire 2 more hotels.
2 more properties.
So tell me about, how'd you get from the 1 to the 3?
Same partner, Nassau Investments, Mike Ely, finding deals, going through the deals, see if the numbers make sense. Now, I didn't know where Indianapolis was. So that was okay. I didn't have to Google that.
All right. So next door in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Shout out to Naptown. I see y'all.
And then, but Scottsburg, I had to Google Scottsburg. So we actually acquired a portfolio.
Okay.
So a lot of times with real estates and particularly hotels, you can actually buy hotels in the portfolio. So call it a 2-piece, right? Like we go to, place and you get 2-piece like KFC. That's what we got. Okay. We got 2-piece hotels. And it was under the same, ownership. We just bought it. That deal was close to $18 million. So we bought 2 hotels for $18 million. It was the Indianapolis, Staybridge Inn and Suites is Indianapolis Fishers, which is about 40 minutes outside of Indianapolis. Okay. And then we have the Hampton Inn in Scottsburg, Indiana, which is about 40 minutes outside of Louisville.
I love it. And for that, you said we looked at the numbers. So when you're analyzing the numbers, like what are the things that tell you whether this is a good hotel deal or not?
Well, for the folks who are residential, right? So when you want to buy low, so you can eventually renovate and sell high and make a profit. So look at the same thing when it comes to a hotel. Okay. Right. So, is this particular property distressed? Is there some upside? We bought these hotels, at the tail end of COVID, it wasn't like full blown, but they didn't quite fully recover. So it was an opportunity to come in for us to reposition the asset. It's some renovation that still needs to be done. So we're coming in and finishing the renovation. So another thing, how hotels are evaluated, real estate is value. You got the building, you got the comps. Mm-hmm. Well, hotels is an operating business sitting on real estate, right? So when you're evaluating a hotel, not only you're evaluating the real estate, but now you're evaluating the business. Okay. So if we come in and the business is performing, it's doing okay, but we come in, we change the management company, we reposition it, we, renovate it. Now, by the time we sell it or refinance, our valuation is a lot higher. Yeah. Because we changed we
increase the value of the business.
Model. Exactly.
Yeah, and the value of the hotel because you're doing renovations, so you get a chance to increase both.
Exactly.
To give you added benefit.
Exactly.
I love it.
See how you simplify stuff all the time.
I be out here, I be reading. I've been in some of your webinars and courses. I'm picking up on this stuff. So let me take you a step back. Because you go from 1 to 3, you mentioned that, hey, like you spent 15 years, working up to this point through corporate. Like, where did it all begin? Like where was the first time when you were like, I'm interested in hotels? I
was a part of this organization. I've always been like getting involved in the type A of being a leader. That was just me. So the leader is typically like the president, right? Or something like that. Mm-hmm. So I was always involved with student organizations. And so I was involved in NSMH, which is the National Society of Minorities in Hospitality. And which led me to join, once I graduated from college, the American Hotel Lodging Association Under 30 Gateway. And so it was hotel professionals under the age of 30. Well, it was people who were under the age of 30 who were like owning hotels. I'm like, wait, you can own a hotel?
Now let me ask you a question.
They inherited.
Okay.
They inherited. So it's a little different. They inherited hotels.
Was any black people there?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah. I think, It wasn't. It was maybe about 10 of us. Because I was on the leadership level, the committee level, so it was like maybe about 5 or 10 of us. I think I was the second chair in the entire organization. So
you were seeing up close the transfer, what generational wealth looked like.
Exactly, yeah.
When somebody literally would pass down a whole hotel or portfolio of hotels.
Like, and it was nothing. Like how we sitting there talking, yeah. I'm like, you bought a hotel? Oh no, my dad, he just bought me one. What? So it's just like, wait, what? It just like took my
Stretch
whole
your mindset.
Oh my gosh. And then it was other people in the organization, even if they didn't own a hotel, they were on the ownership side. So they were developers. I'm like, how do you develop a hotel? You're not even 30, you're like 28. Like, it was just a normal conversation. They were looking at me like I was crazy. Like, what are you talking about?
So let me dig into that, because what makes you, as you're sitting there having those conversations with them, you're talking to them, and you noticing, okay, something is different.
Right.
Like, this room is different, right? Like people are inheriting hotels or portfolios of hotels. People are developing hotels in under 30. What do you think was different in their mindset?
What,
than the
they
average
were born
person
with it.
That would think
it was ingrained in them. They even if they worked in a hotel, they worked in their hotel. Like, they worked in their father's hotel. So they have a different mindset. Like, their family was grooming them to take over the family business. So I'm still friends with a lot of them today, and that's what happened. They're like CEOs of their parent, their father's company, who owns a chain of hotels. So they're just legacy building. Right. And so now my grandmother, she did talk about, keep one paid off house in the family. Right. That's typically what we talk about in the Black community, get a house. But we have other communities that's like, get a hotel, buy a gas station, literally own the block, where they literally own the entire block, and they're keeping the money within their community. And they're not even passing generational wealth. They're passing careers. Like, they're passing legacies. Like, they're working hard for their last name. They're working hard for, their other family members that are in different countries, so that way their family members can come up. So it's like just a whole thing. So me tapping into different cultures and learning the different cultures, that really helped me, and was like, wait, I got to step my game up all the way up to buy a hotel.
So, but you also, when you went to college, you went to school for hospitality or something, right?
Yeah, hospitality and sociology, yeah.
So still you were kind of on this path.
But so one thing about a lot of colleges and universities, even with hospitality programs, they don't teach you to own. Like, they're training you, or they're teaching you to work to become a general manager. Now, if you go to schools like Cornell or Michigan State, they teach you more of the transactional side. So they teach you more about the brokerage and the investment analysis and private equity and all of those different, where the big money is, right? But I would have never thought about, until I took a non-paid internship out of college, working on $100 million deals, calling to raise capital for $100 million. I mean, I wasn't raised that way. Even thinking of $1 million is just, I didn't think that was, possible. Or if I did, some of my family members were like, oh, you can never be a billionaire or maybe a millionaire. It just wasn't talked about. It wasn't something that they felt like it was attainable, because it's something that they couldn't do.
So when internally did you feel like it was attainable? Well, like, at what point did you say, hey, even though I may have never seen it directly, right, 1 degree of separation in front of me, but I can do what they did. So joining that, getting around that group of people.
When I changed who I was around, when I started being around different people, and they started normalizing $1 million conversations, like, just like you and I were talking, they were talking about the type of wealth and the type of things that they were doing. It was just normal. Like, this is what, and then also, once I got into the ownership side of hotels, and I took that non-paid internship, of course, the clients, to develop hotels and $100 million hotel, more than likely probably a billionaire. So those were the clients. So again, that's opening my mindset. Clients are flying in on their planes, and, we're helping them develop their master plan, and literally they're doing it to create a legacy for their children. They made so much money now that this is just for fun, and they're just doing this to create a legacy for their children. They're creating wealth for 3 generations.
So I know you have a son. How has this impacted the way you raise your son? This episode of the Traffic, Sales, and Profit podcast is brought to you by my book, Traffic, Sales, and Profit, the ultimate step-by-step guide to creating consistent business revenue online. I want to get you a free copy, right? Paperback copy at that. None of this digital mumbo jumbo. How do you get your hands on it? Go to www.freetspbook.com.
Oh my gosh. I didn't really think more about generational. My grandma talked about it. Not really, like, keep a house paid off, but I didn't really understand, like, generational wealth. Like, because I was about to sell her house.
She told you to keep a house in the...
And that's why she was like, hey, Ryan, you don't ever listen. And because she left me, my grandma, she left me 2 paid off houses. And she was like, at least, well, one of them it was like in the country. I don't want to live there. You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness.
But when my son was born, don't want to go there. I mean, I keep it now. But when my son was born, I said, this is why she want me to keep these houses. Because we can go down there. It's in the country. He has so much fun just running around in leaves. You know, just the little things. And I saw, this is what I used to do when I was his age. I would go to my grandma's house and literally run around. And she would just be sitting on the porch, and it hit me. I said, oh my gosh, this is what my grandmother meant. I have to keep this house so that way generations and generations that she worked and sacrificed for. Because my grandmother, she only had an 8th grade education. She was borderline illiterate, you know, just the time that she grew up in. And so for her to create the kind of wealth to help me and I really didn't have that much college debt because of my grandmother. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, what can I do to keep this legacy going on? About what I know, hotels. Davonne, stop playing. It was my grandma talking to me. Davonne, stop playing. Buy you a hotel. Set your son up for success. Set your son up like these other families are doing, where they're creating. They don't talk about getting rich. They're literally talking about wealth, transferring millions and millions where it's growing, where they're literally just living off of interest. I want to create a lifestyle where we're just living off of dividends. We're not even touching the principal.
I love it. Hopefully y'all are catching this, because that was a nugget. So if somebody's watching this and they're saying, okay, her story has inspired me. I want to build a lifestyle and work towards building wealth and generational wealth and having something to pass down to my children or maybe my grandkids that are here on this earth now and the ones that may come in the future. How do they get started? Like what would, if they say, okay, I want to get started in owning a hotel, like what are 2 or 3 things they need to know?
First thing, you have to change your mindset. That's the first thing. You have to change your mindset where you can believe, not even just owning a hotel, but just believing that you can do it. Because a lot of people, oh, Davonne, I want to buy a hotel, but they don't believe it themselves. They're just saying it just to say it. No, you have to believe it. And that's what I had to I had to believe, because people told me, Davonne, you young, you black. I mean, you know, people who I'm looking up to, girl, you can't buy, you can't buy, you do it 30, 50, like, do something else. So at first I started believing them, but once I was like, no, I can do it. Right? So first thing, you have to believe in yourself. The next thing is definitely get education. Okay. Right? There are a lot of different organizations, NABHOOD, National Association of Black Hotel Owners, Operators, and Developers. They have information, American Hotel Lodging Association, AHOA, Asian American Hotel Owner, all of these different organizations. They're great sources of information for first-time hoteliers and people who want to get into the space. I have courses. I built the community, shout out to TSP for teaching me how to do that. I built the community where it created a safe space, because I've came across so many people who actually wanted to own a hotel, but they weren't around people who believed the same thing. And so they didn't know where to go, or they would start to doubt themselves. And a lot of times people think, okay, you have to have millions of dollars. Once I started realizing that the uber wealthy, they don't use their own money to make money. Wait a minute. Because I just told you I had to help raise $100 million for somebody, right, for their hotel. You know, he told me, I don't want to use my money. I want to use the other people's money. So this is what you do. You call all these large corporations and bank. I said, oh. So it clicked. So, but we have in our community where we got to scrimp and save, and we don't realize that we can use other people's money to actually make our dreams come true, because that's what a lot of other communities, that's what they do. They work together, they figure it out, and now, they raise capital.
If somebody's watching, are they having to raise, can they raise 100% of money from other people, or can some of it be theirs? Like, how much would they need to bring to the table?
They can. It just depends on how it's structured. I would recommend that you do have something. You know, because some people be like, you ain't about to be risking all my money. What you putting in? Yeah. You know what I mean?
And what's something look like? I mean, what'd you say? I mean, I know it's no absolutes, but
at least a couple $100,000. Because you can get some hotels for like $1 million to $2 million, so long as you got like 10 to 20%, down. So at least a couple hundred. And a lot of times people think they got to have it in their pocket. People forget they have retirement accounts. Yes. People forget they have stock accounts. Like, people forget that they have all these different things that they can use to invest, and they can grow that. And then that's when the light bulb hit. They're like, oh, wait, I didn't know I could use it on retirement.
Yeah. Now, if they look for a hotel, opportunities, right? Besides your group, shout out to your Facebook group. Your Facebook group is amazing. I'm a member. What's the name of the group?
Black Hotel Investors.
All right. Want to give a shout out to the group because I know in the group all the time, there's people like, hey, this property is available. Hey, I saw this.
Getting deals.
Yeah, like, I saw. It's a lot. It's a lot moving in the group.
I'm waiting for him to sign. It's one of the folks in the group. They about to sign a franchise agreement with a major hotel brand. Like the group is, and the brands are now. The brands are really like, yo, Davonne, how can we get involved? Because you are bringing quality people to us.
So if someone says, all right, I got the money, I got some set aside, I got retirement, I got stocks, I got, I sold the house because the housing market was hot. Yeah. Now I got this cash, I'm sitting on it. And they financially able to do something, get people together to do something. Then like do they just say, hey, you know what? I love Marriott's, so I need a Marriott, or I love Hilton's. Because you told me something that surprised me one time. You said some of the chains that I may not think about are the ones that actually cash flow the best.
Yeah, like a Choice. Shout out to Choice. Choice Hotels, they're one of the only programs, one of the brands that have a program for minorities. They have an emerging markets programs. And so they have a lot of economy brands. So like they make some brands to look at. They have Woodspring Suites, Wyndham. That's another program.
Okay. Another brand. Is Choice also Quality Inn?
Quality
Comfort
Inn. Yep, Quality Inn. Quality Inn is another hotel. Look at you, I'm proud of you, know your brand. And then,
I be out here a little bit. I pay attention to what you're doing.
I see.
I pay attention.
And then Wyndham actually has a new program. It's called Women Who Own the Room. And so their goal is to, increase the ownership of women. So, when Ronnie, she decided to get her hotel, Wyndham, they had the Women Who Own the Room. And they had the Days Inn. So the Indian community or Southeast Asian community, they started owning hotels in America after us. But now they own over 60% of the hotels. So the model that I just told you, coming in at the economy level, that's how they were able to build their wealth and pass down wealth and have portfolios of tens and 20s of hotels, because they started off, they were able to build their cash flow. They understood the business, the keeping their expenses low. And then they start off, when I see my people, I don't stay at a Quality Inn. I want a Ritz-Carlton. Okay, you know how much Ritz-Carlton costs? Once I show them, like the cheapest one, I mean, maybe 70 million.
70 million to buy a Ritz-Carlton on the cheap side. How much?
I don't even think it's that low. It can get, because I've seen a Four Seasons, it was like 400,000 a key. So if that's what,
and
even 10 rooms, a key means per room. So even if it's 10 rooms, that's $4 million. How much? $4 million?
Yeah. So if you said 70 million minimum for Ritz-Carlton, when we're talking about those Choice hotels, like a Days Inn,
you probably can get something for like less than $5 million. And that's when you can step into the arena of getting the SBA loan, which is a small business association loan.
And then I want to just bring in how attainable it may be to people. Because you're talking about $5 million. And then you said, hey, you get loans, because it's not all your money. I think a lot of times people think something costs $5 million. You got to walk in $5. So you're getting a loan just like you do in your home. Just like you buy your house. So now if you putting, 20% down on $5 million, that's only $1 million that you got to come up with.
Exactly.
And then, like you said, if the $1 million I got to come up with is not all of my money, but it's friends, it's family, it's people I'm gathering.
So let's say you only got $100,000 in your retirement account.
Okay.
And 9 other people. You may know a doctor, because not everybody want to own a hotel. Some people just want to invest. Like the majority of my investors, they have full-time jobs. They just want to, make more money with the money they have. So if you got, let's say, going back to that scenario, you need $1 million. Let's say you got 100,000. You find 9 other people with 100,000. That's $1 million that you have to put on the down payment of the house. I mean, not down payment on the hotel. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So when you start thinking like that, doesn't it make it more easy?
Yeah, it makes more sense. It's in reach. It's in reach.
Right. But if you start small, now I wouldn't say go off get a Ritz-Carlton.
We be bald. No. Okay.
I wouldn't. Oh, goodness. I mean,
I was feeling for a second.
Those things are expensive, right? They're nice hotels, but they're just really expensive. Yeah. Even like a Waldorf Astoria. Those are really expensive hotels. But my thing is, I don't knock people. If you want to get that, you can buy it one day. I just want to start off with that.
Just start somewhere.
Just start somewhere, and then you can eventually grow. Like you can, my business partner was talking about Mike. He's working on an $81 million project in Sarasota. right? You know what I mean? I think they're looking at the intercontinental, you know, so you start off small and then you work your way up to those $80 million projects, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
All right, so we talked about how you got there. We talked about the steps people can take, like 1, 2, 3 to go. Before we get out of here, I want to talk about like what's next for you. Well, and what's next as far as hotels, personally, right, that you want to get and acquire.
I do want to hire it.
But then also what's next as far as this movement you're creating? Because you have a movement where literally you are making hotel ownership attainable for our community. So let's talk about what's next with both of those.
When you said it gave me chills. Like sometimes I don't realize what I'm doing until I get my little appreciation messages. Like when it's housekeepers who worked in the hotel or general managers who've been in the industry longer than I've been alive, and they didn't think it was possible to own a hotel.
Wow.
So when I see those messages, I'm like, okay, I can't stop. Like I can't, you know. The next step, I do want to get a Hyatt. Everybody knows I want to get a Hyatt. The CEO of Hyatt, everybody knows I want to get a Hyatt. It's just I started working at the Hyatt. That's like it's just full circle. I just got to get a Hyatt, particularly a Hyatt house. I already know. I don't care about the location. It's the brand. Hyatt house is the extended stay for anybody who's thinking. And the next step, I want to create a platform. I am. You know, I can't share, can't wait.
There we go. I like it.
Where it makes it easier for folks to raise capital. It makes it easier for people to invest. So that's the next step for me, is to make a platform and make it more attainable than what I've already done it. But definitely continue this movement. And when I speak on this, it's not an overnight success, right? Mm-hmm. So people think, okay, I'm gonna sign on buy a hotel tomorrow. For one, you got to do the work. So if you want to buy a hotel, like, you got to be looking for deals, like at least one deal a week. Like it takes a lot of work. That's why people look for deals for me, because it takes a lot of work. But that's something that you really want to be passionate about. Now you may just want to invest passively, and you know, like, hey, Davonne, I'm not trying to do all that. I hear what you're saying. That sounds good, but that sounds like a lot of work that I don't want to do. But you know, I got some money. You know, can I invest with you on your next deal? Or do you know somebody that I can invest with? Because, you know, people invest in hotels just like investing in real estate. So if you get the benefits of investing in real estate, like, you know, tax, you know, investing in depreciation, you know, and also hotels is more so of a long-term play, right? So when you're in investing, you know, you get typically your return in probably like 3 to 5 years, depending on your strategy. If you're a cash flow person, it may be something that's monthly recurring. So just going off your strategy and just being honest with yourself. If you're thinking, I'm gonna quit my full-time job and then get this hotel, and you don't want to put any work in, it may not be a good fit, you know, because even some hotels, if you start off small, you may not be able to bring a management company, but you do want to start off in a space where you have the right team around you. So either hotel consultant, management company, lender, brand, have that support, so that way you can grow and you can, you know, build that portfolio. So if you do eventually want to leave your job, that you can.
All right. I love it. How can people find out more about you, find out about the Vonne Group, find out, you know, maybe they want to get into hotels, maybe they got money, they want to get into one of these deals that you got. How can they track you down? Because you are looking for not just people that want to buy hotels, but investors that have money sitting on the sidelines, they want to get into the game. How can they reach out?
Well, you can find me on Instagram at Davonne Reaves. You can visit me on my website, the Vonne Group, TheVonnegroup.com. And yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, so you can find me there. My Facebook group, Black Hotel Investors, definitely find me there. I'm actually going on tour, 10 city tour. So I'll probably be in a city near you. My hotel tours are different, you know that.
They are. I'm telling you, if they can get there, they need to get there.
If you got to be in a room. I done been in a couple of rooms and a couple of folks came out investors, right? So definitely follow me, stay up to date, stay connected. definitely can get you to where you need to go if you need to get in contact, with the brands, brokers. I'm like your one-stop shop. You need a lender, you need a broker, you need to get in contact with the brand, whatever you need to get you to the closing table, because I want to teach people how to become successful hotel owners and investors. So I have what you need to get to the closing table.
All right, there we go. So folks, I'm telling you, make sure you support this sister and what she's doing. If you have any interest in getting a hotel and becoming a hotel owner and wanting to even invest in hotels, it's only one person you need to know, and that is Davonne Reaves.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Traffic Sales and Profit Podcast. Don't forget to download and subscribe on your favorite podcast platforms. Also, visit us at www.trafficsalesandprofit.com/podcast. On that page, you'll have all the links to follow us on social, me at Lamar Tyler and the at Traffic Sales and Profit brand, in addition to information on our upcoming events, information on how to get a free copy of my paperback book, and more so that you can be the best entrepreneur possible. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next episode.